get this phone in a way that it's not going to fall down, which is more challenging than it should be sometimes. I think that's about right. Had very little coffee so far. I got up a lot earlier than I normally do this morning. Not a lot earlier, but I woke up an hour earlier on my own. And, well, let's put the airbrush together while I'm running my mouth here. Get one more light in here. There we go. Strange sound. Sounded like a woodpecker was in here. It's clean. This is a perfect example this morning of why I do this every morning. Because it's a positive spin on something that's already gone sideways. Or I think it's already gone sideways. Just annoying. And I might as well just cut the crap and just go get us. I might as well just get a soda now. Just get it over with. So we're going to, I abruptly I was not able to finish this to the point where I would have been happy leaving this at. So we could start doing the black lining and pin washing and all that stuff this morning. Of course, we still have to do snow on top of that, the snow colors. And I think they'll look okay, but I didn't want to stop when I did, but I had to go on a road trip. Good morning. Can't see your name. Hello. Elijah. What am I doing? We're getting ready to paint some tanks. I'm going to do some whitewash on them as soon as I find the right color here. So I have a video that I shot yesterday. I got about 2.5 hours worth of video of a reenactment site. I found out through my model group that they were going to have a World War II tank and soldier reenactment relatively close to me with real live vehicles, shooting and stuff like that. Obviously not real bullets, but still the powder, still the noise. Man, I cannot read the comments today. So you're good to be the truly baloney. Baloney. Well, that's not my people, but okay. I haven't eaten bologna since the 1970s. So I went to this event, shot the video, and figured, okay, I don't like shooting a video and then not putting it out there. So I got back relatively early. I got back, I think, before 6. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to edit this video. And that way it can upload overnight. And that way I can go, okay, it's good for you guys to view this morning. And everybody can see it. And I did all that. And I wake up this morning and I get hey, you can't have this song in the video because I didn't think about it. I don't do live videos very much, but YouTube has a problem when there's copyrighted music. And in some of the areas where some of these vendors were doing their vending in, they had 1940s type music playing in the background. So I could do two things. I can put the video as it is, and I won't get any revenue from it. or re-edit it. So I re-edited it because look, it's not fair that I did all that. I actually don't mind going to the event, okay, and putting and making the video and then putting it out there. I don't get any revenue on it, but I spent like 4 hours fucking editing this video. I'm like, I should get at least 30 fucking cents from it. So I'm like, no, nope. I re-edited it and I'm like, okay, cool. Now we can upload it quickly. Nope, takes 3 hours to edit it, to upload it. I'm like, well, so it'll be up later tonight at some point when I don't need to use my phone like now to do it. So that's why I'm almost always only do live videos from now on, because I can talk about what I like to talk about. I can show you what I want to show you, and I'm not tortured by having to go back and do all this extra fucking homework just to get a video out to you guys. That's the kind of stuff that just, you know, sends me down. It doesn't send me down the deep end, but puts me in a bad fucking mood. And I do this hobby to be in a good mood, not to be upset. If I'm going to be upset, I might as well get paid for it, like, i.e. being at work. Good morning, Marcus. So I do have a video for you. There's lots of footage. It went really well. It wasn't that hot. It was probably in the mid 80s with a breeze. The problem with it was glary as shit for me. So while I'm filming, you know, I've got this on a little pedestal. I can't really see the screen really well to see if everything's kind of in register. Now I watched the video. I did fucking pretty good. I mean, you know, so I was overly concerned about something that wasn't an issue. But the bad thing is the video's done. It's edited, and I just took the vendor part. I just took it out. There was like 5 or 6 different vendors that were selling like reenactment gear. You know, nothing really worth. I like showing the whole thing so people get the idea if they go to one of these things what it's like. You know, where do you park? I mean, I didn't do the walking from the park, but you know, is there a lot of people there? The vendors, how close are each other? What kind of stuff do they have? You know, do they have T-shirts or, you know? I like showing everything. I don't like to edit things out. But, you know, they had some Dean Martin song playing in the background, and it fucked up my whole video. So, fuck you, YouTube. So it will be out. And the part that I thought was the least interesting was the battle reenactment. And when you see it, if you see it, hopefully you'll agree with me. The best part of it was I got to interview one person in particular who was a reenactor who really wanted to talk about stuff. I would not want to be a reenactor for multiple reasons. But the biggest reason is I would have thought, well, I don't want to wear wool, right? It's in Florida. And I thought that would have been, you know, like pretty much the reason I would not want to be a reenactor. I don't want to be a reenactor because I don't want to deal with the public. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about, or people like me. I'm talking about people that are like in their early 20s and they're just rambling on about how the German tanks are the best things. And you know, they're on like this tirade. And you can tell that I caught part of it in one of the videos. One of the guys was basically like just kind of playing along with them, but it's like, man, can you get this fucker to leave? You know, I don't want to deal with those people. It's not the moms and bringing their kids, or moms and dads bringing their kids you know, it's the guys that show up and think they know it all, and don't, you know. So anyhow, it was a good experience. I was there for 4.5 hours. I got plenty of sun, that's for sure. And yeah, I really enjoyed talking to I got a lot of close-up pictures of tanks and far-away pictures of tanks and them in action and stuff. But, you know, I guess you know, if I'd uploaded the video, that you guys wouldn't watch the show because some of you would be watching the video. But it'll be up. It should be up today. But yeah, that's why I don't do videos that are like that aren't live, because you run into those issues, you know. If I'm watching my show, I mean, literally, I remember several years ago, the first time I encountered it, I'm in my room closed, and in the main room, the living room, I don't hear well, and I couldn't hear that there was a song playing, and the girls are watching reruns of the Gilmore Girls or something like that. I think that's what it was. And it caught like a tiny little part of like the intro song while they were in between episodes. It YouTube goes, "Doop, doop, doop." Oh, your video's fucked when you see that. I'm like, I don't want to promote that stupid show or that song or whatever, you know. But anyhow, I can't see diddly dick. I'm sure I'll see it later when you post. What were your favorites? Looking forward to the stood from the side. You subscribed. Thank you. The stood from the side. The closer you got to it, the more unrealistic it looked. I think they did a really good job adding stuff to it that serves no functional purpose on it other than to make it look like a stew. I'm not going to steal my thunder from you guys because I know you guys will watch the video. Even if you fast forward some of the stuff that's boring, I don't think you'll fast forward. Definitely watch the part where I'm walking through in the tanks. The battle reenactment's the most boring part. You know, because they're just, you know, they're far away from each other, but they're at a range where it's like, it seems like it's even closer than my battlefield and face of battle. Like, how would you miss anybody? But anyhow, so the thing I was the most impressed about is I was next to an M10 tank destroyer. And on the side of the turret of the M10 tank destroyer, say this is an M10 tank destroyer, there's all these little loops. There's all these little loops that they look like staples that are kind of smushed down. And I've got a good view of them. They're about this long. I call them clevises, but I say things, they're not clevises. They're just like these little hooks. They're like staples. They're about this long. They're flat up against the hull and they come out. They probably protrude about that far. And all it is a little place to hook something through. Almost like those little loops they have on like normal, on modern military equipment. And the entire side of the turret probably has 24 of them. And those things aren't normally visible on models, you know? And that's how they attach the gear. So you'll see pictures of like, you know, a tank or something. It'll have all of the run sacks and everything they have, all their equipment and everything that's attached to the side, like on a model. And you're like, what the hell is it attached to? Well, there's all these little, and they're not very, I mean, the metal is probably, don't make me take my fucking glasses off. God, I'm so fucking klutzy with glasses. The metal is probably thinner than this. This is what, a quarter inch? It's probably thinner than a quarter inch, the little bar. So, yeah. Now the wheel came off. Fuck you, I'll glue you inside. Don't start with me today. I'm in a bad mood just because of video. See, like I made this video. I spent all this. I didn't do a paint session last night because I wanted to get this out. And I'm like, it's not out. Like, the fuck, man? I'm pissed. You know? Anyhow. Yeah, I don't like doing stuff for you guys. And then like, nope, people don't get to see it. Like shit, that's more frustrating than being at work. All right. That's what I'm doing. Like, I remember there was one video, one of the first videos when I had my first phone that I started doing videos. I got a Samsung 24 now. I had a 20 until it freaking melted. It didn't melt, but the plug melted in it. That's the only reason I upgrade stuff is when something's like broke. And the 8 that I had before. The 8 was the first one I started filming on. And the 8 had just enough RAM to do filming. But when it came down to crunching the video, like I had filmed the video with Mitch. And this was, I don't know, 3 years ago, towards the beginning. And I filmed this video. And I spent all this time editing. And I'm like, okay, it's time to crunch it. Because the way it works is you shoot a video, and then you edit it. And my phone, the editor I use on the phone is really easy to use. It makes sense. I mean, everybody knows how to edit a video. You've seen a commercial, you know how it is. This comes in, put this up, fade this up, this goes away, this music starts here, it fades, it goes. All that is, you know how to do it, even though you've never done it. So you don't need a program that is like you're fighting it tooth and nail to do it, right? So I have an editor that's pretty easy. You got to pay for it, but it's pretty easy to use. It's worth it. So I get this thing edited exactly how I want. Now the huge pain in the butt of the editing video happens, and it's what I call the crunch. Okay, and it's basically, you take this video and it gets put in some format, with the molecules and the ions, so it can be uploaded to YouTube in a format that can be uploaded to YouTube. Not the actual uploading to YouTube, the actually crunching it so it can get put onto YouTube. So you need memory, and it takes this video took probably, and it wasn't that long. Well, I guess it was, but it took like 4 hours to crunch. And during that time, I had to constantly tap my phone so it wouldn't go to sleep. Because if anything interrupts that crunch process, a phone call, surfing, anything on that, it would pause it. And the only thing I could do is get out of the program and start the whole process back up again. I did it like 12 times. I came so close to just throwing the fucking phone away and never doing another video. This was, I don't know, 3.5 years ago. It is so, like, that's what I said. I have this, people go, man, how do you have the patience to paint this? I said, because everything fucking goes right here. And it's slow, right? Like, it's slow pin washing, and you do this and it takes a long time to do it. But when you do that, you don't have to go back and redo that part again. It's done. You keep moving forward. But to have something where it's like, oh, that's gone, you got to start over again. That's like a big fuck you in your face, right? And I need to have more coffee. And that's why I don't have the skills. I don't have the personality. And I'm actually proud that I don't have that personality. I don't have the personality to do computer shit, to do CAD, computer aided drafting. I took that in college, had my project almost all the way done, saved it on a 3.5-inch floppy, turn it in, like something happened and got corrupted, gone, had to start over again. Like I do not need that kind of job, So that can be for the people that sit in a Google office and play with their hacky sacks or some other sack all day long. But this, I don't give a shit that this takes forever. This is all good, right? So, let's see. We're kind of looking forward to this. To the side. All right. Most important question. Did they get the colors right? Yeah. Yeah, they did. They did. And I told them, I commented to a couple of guys, and I got one guy to subscribe to me. Of course, I was talking to, there's this one guy that was on a stoop that I talked to him for there's two guys I talked to for a long time that I'm sitting there thinking after a while, I'm wondering if I'm annoying the shit out of this guy because I'm like taking all of his attention. And then a couple of these, I don't want to call them nerd burglars because that makes it sound like they knew what they were talking about. But a couple of these visitors came by that just wanted to run their mouth about BS that they had heard that was incorrect. And I figured, well, I saved them from having to talk to this person. But one of the guys actually subscribed to my channel, so he was pretty cool. The three guys that I kind of I didn't really interview them. I didn't want these guys to think like I was going to ask them questions and put them on the spot to get shit wrong. That's not my purpose. I'm like, maybe they can tell me something that, since they have a unique knowledge of this stuff, but all of the vehicles are supposedly owned by one person, and they live in Florida. I don't know who their name is, but that's their hobby, and is to collect the vehicles. I don't know if they were there. They might just be like a George Soros kind of person. I don't know. I hope it wasn't George Soros. And just some kind of person that, that was their thing. And they had 11, or he said that one guy said it was like 11 to 14 full-time employees doing that. And like one guy was the painter. People like volunteer to do different things. So I wouldn't be volunteering to do any fucking videos. Without the video editing, I don't mind filming this shit. So that's why I don't have more professional. You know, so I was doing this video about a month ago of like how to paint, I forget what it was. It was a German tank or a Russian tank, step by step. And I can't film it like this, right? Because everything's reversed. And I think I wasn't able to just reverse it later. So I'm filming this and I'm 75% through the process of filming, and then look at what I filmed, and it's out of register. It'd be like I'd be painting this tank and I'd be over here spraying it instead of like in the middle of the camera. I'm like, I need a I need somebody that's like on watch. Like I'm the guy doing the work. I can't be everywhere at once. So I threw all those videos away and I was super frustrated. I'm not going to do one of those videos because it's just too frustrating. And that's the last thing you want me to do is be frustrated. Say, you know what, fuck, Tony's not painting anything anymore. Why? Because, you know, it's too frustrating. But they got the colors right. There's a couple different shades of Dunkelgelb. Um, they had an M20 armored car. They had an M3 white scout car, a priest. I'm trying to go in order because I can remember how they were laid out. A priest, a Jackson, M36 Jackson. They had a Sherman 105. It's like an M4A3 Sherman 105. They had a Hellcat. And all of those didn't move. I mean, they obviously moved to get there, but they did like a little parade afterwards, and those didn't move. And then they had the ones that did move and were in the reenactment is an M10 tank destroyer. Oh, they had an M4A176 from the 2nd Armored Division with the black and green camouflage. It didn't move. It was I didn't get to see it moving. But they had like a US half track moving. They had a couple of Shermans, an M4A3 and an M4A1, and the M10, and a couple German motorcycles. The Stug, or the Ersatz Stug, the Ersatz 251, that was a post-war conversion. It looks pretty, considering it's not the right vehicle, that's the most right-wrong vehicle that was there. Of all the vehicles that are like, this isn't the real vehicle, the mock-up on the 251 looks pretty darn good. It looks better than the Stug mock-up, because the Stug mock-up is, the Stug is not very big. Not that a Panzer III is that big, but a Panzer III is bigger, and a Panzer III is wider than that vehicle, and it also has an extra road wheel. But it looks good. I mean, it's got like the stuff that's on the back of this stuff that's on the back of the Panzer III. It had it all on it. I don't know if it was right. These little like baffle cover things. I mean, that serves no purpose on the fake vehicle. They welded them on there, put jerry cans, put the right jerry can. I mean, they knew what they were doing. It wasn't like just a bunch of retarded people just putting something together. I mean, they put some thought into it. There's a couple of guys that were in a British armored car, in a Humber armored car. I could tell it was a Humber. It said Humber on the plate. So I asked him what kind it is, and he's like, "Oh, it's a Humber armored car." I'm like, "Oh, I know that." Those guys really, I wasn't impressed with their knowledge level, but because it looked like a Marmon Harrington Mark II, but I don't know what it was. I'm sure Jeffrey will know what it is. I said, I'm not up on my British armored cars that are painted green. I'm not. I haven't gained that, you know. So, but it had a boys and a tank rifle and a Bren gun. I'm like, that's exactly what a Marmon Harrington's armed with. But neither the boys or the Bren were real ones. The guy said he welded them. Like, I think he did a pretty good job welding them together. What else? Oh, they had an actual SDKFZ7 and an actual 88. The 88 is a weird version that I haven't ever seen one until recently, but the thick, it might be like a Flak 37 or something like that. They said it was a real gun they got from Spain, and it's it's got the side shield, instead of it being like at an angle, it actually like is really fat at the bottom and then tapers at the top. Revell makes a model of one of them. I think it's not the typical 88 look, but it's still an 88. It's an 88 flak. It's not an 88. It's not a barn door or anything like that. Oh, and a long tom with the tractor hauler with it. And so they did this one part that was very short, where they did this firing exercise. Everybody lined up and they fired, and it only lasted like 3 seconds, but it was loud as shit. I mean, you don't need it. I even mentioned, it's like, well, you don't need to do a defibrillator for that. I mean, it was like, and I had my ears on. I brought my target range goggles. Yeah, they're ear goggles. Ear protectors where you can still hear people, but it muffles things down. So my Peltors. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. Those videos of live equipment vehicles were helpful. I'm working on a pair of Italian Semoventes. YouTube's researchers and a couple of videos of Italians driving some around. Yeah, YouTube's always watching to see what you're doing. So, all right. I do want to spray black the rest of the T-34s and finish that, but I already got these. Let's do some white on these guys. I don't know what. Oh, this is at the low spray setting. Okay, good. Let's go ahead and put some white. Let's make sure it's working okay, and then we'll do some white. There was one Russian reenactor. He was probably 10 years older than I am. You'll see him. And I had to leave because he was one of those he wouldn't get out of character. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be spewing that much Soviet propaganda. There's a lot of German reenactors. A lot of guys are reenacting SS stuff, which I didn't really like. You know, and I'm not one of the protected groups that the Nazis would have gone after, in, you know, or that did go after. But still, I didn't like that. I didn't like that. You know, like, why are you doing SS reenactors? You know, one guy was actually dressed up. If you ever seen Generation War, there's that one SS guy that basically, like, the main character, like, keeps these guys from being killed, and he comes in and shoots the kid or something like that. And he was dressed up just like him. So he had like that tan colored shirt, almost a shirt that was like this, but obviously not as orange, pumpkin colored shirt on top of the military tunic. I'd actually never seen that before until I've seen that, but I don't really follow the fucking SS anywhere. So there's a lot of guys with SS shoulder tabs, and I didn't spend too much time on that in the video because I don't want to get nicked. And again, it's by people that don't know, because I don't promote that kind of bullshit. So, you know, I don't have a problem with people like reenacting SS, but like, why is there just as many SS as regular German guys? Like, it doesn't make any sense, you know? Like, if I was going to reenact stuff, if I had to, I'm not reenacting Germans. Not because I have a problem with people reenacting. I don't want to get people to assume something. That's all. Because there are people out there. Nobody reenacting any British people. I don't know what you Brits did to people here in the United States, but we don't want to reenact you, I guess. Oh, that's not true. There was two guys. They didn't in no way, shape, or form try to do some kind of an accent, which may make you happy and sad at the same time. All right, let's do the shittiest truck of all first. And we're going to do the white first, and then we'll come down and do a little brown on the bottom. But I can't stand doing stuff for you guys and some inanimate object come in and say, no, people don't get to see this. I mean, that's like a big fuck you in my face. Maybe they were reenacting Canadians or Poles. No. Well, you'll be able to tell. You'll also be able to tell. It's going to be on you to tell me what kind of British armored car it is. It has Humber written on the base plate, on the plate of it. I'm not doing more than that. Yeah, they're lucky that they even painted it white. You want to paint this? Nah, take it out for drive. So this is what I was talking about, that this thing needs an undercarriage. Now, look what undercarriage we're looking at, right? That's a pretty shitty job, right? This is the opposite of an Eschi kit. An Eschi would make you put all these piping and stuff underneath here, put all the suspension and stuff, and you'd never see it, right? So this is Tony suspension, freaking boxcar derby suspension here. But here's the objective. Look at the side view. It works for that, right? You see that there's something that goes underneath the bed, across the truck. Works for me. So, but they wanted you to just put these tires directly glued on here, and that's it. Like no undercarriage. I'm like, that doesn't look right, you know? So. And I gave up my evening painting session to do this video. Oh, I'm so fucking pissed. I'm so pissed I should drink. It's 5:30 somewhere. Yeah, 5:30 a.m. So the video may not be up to date for you British people. Because if I stop this right now, I've got to upload it. It's apparently going to take 3 hours. And after you upload it, you got to wait for it a little bit for it to do its thing so that when you see it, it's not 240p, right? So you think, okay, well, it's a free event. It still costs about $30 in gas to get there. Well, to get there and back. Something like that. was reading this memoirs of whatchamacallit on the way back. Horst Scheibert, along with other stuff that's in there. It's not just about his particular interaction, but of the whole Wintergewitter thing. And I had to stop. I mean, there's too much good information. Like, you know, 6th and 7th companies attacked this village, and you know they came in and then the Panzergrenadiers. I mean, like, not like super detailed, but you could certainly make scenarios that are inspired by those events. And it's like, it just gave me too much. There was just too much. I was just bombarded by information that I was going to have to go back and listen to anyways. Went to that store at the flea market. It's a hobby store. Decided I didn't want to pick up a Panzer IV F2 for $20 fucking. Like, didn't buy anything. I don't need anything anyways. Found another vendor I didn't know that was there that also had models, and they had a bunch of old models. They had like all of the old MPC 1600 scale. Well, they didn't have all of them, but they had, you know, they had the Suffolk, and they had, I remember it was packaging. The Ajax was Ajax Destroyer. You mean the light cruiser Ajax? And of course, those are old Airfix kits, but they were rebranded as MPC kits here in the States. I had the Suffolk. I don't know that I had the Ajax. I don't think I did. And he also made an Exeter, if I remember correctly. I really wish those were waterline back in the day. The waterline didn't show up until I wasn't building them anymore as a kid. Go for it, painting. Have a great paint job. You too, man. If that's what you're going to do today. Yeah, I don't have any problems that, you know, even with wheels falling off, and I mean, you know, I got no problems here. That's why we do this. Okay. That's as far as we're going to go with that one. T34 and D5. Hey, Jimmy. Thanks, man. Hey, hopefully I inspire you to do some of this shit, man. If some idiot like me can do it, you can do it. My wife always gets on me. You make it sound like it's easy. It is! But, you know, you've got to, like, you know, I'm also like the guy that can run a marathon that's saying, oh, anybody can run a marathon. Well, you got to want to. I don't want to run a marathon, but I want to paint, and I don't mind spending a long time painting something. Some people are like, I just want to dip it. Well, you know, that's what works for you. Well, still getting a little bit of starting to get pretty small though. I never put on my magic glove. Oh well. I guess it would have come more naturally if I was a Michael Jackson impersonator. This thing vibrates out. It didn't used to do that. I used to be able to put this on here and it wouldn't vibrate out. See how the color matching is looking. Feel like I need to do maybe a little bit more. I mean, it's got nice equipment on it. I think it'll actually look pretty good. I'm going to try to make it look good. You know, it's not like, I'm going to make this thing look like crap so everybody will know how shitty these models are. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Fuel tanks. Oh, that was interesting. You can do it. Come on. Turret's got the shake. I think I'm good with that. The two SU-100s I have came to me in winter camouflage. And by winter camouflage, I mean they were spray painted white. Like completely, with like no variation. Like they were like dipped in like a white vat. Like, okay, that's not the look I'm wanting to go for. And I still have some of this white left. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So let's go ahead and dump this stuff out. We'll rinse this stuff, and then we'll go in and we're going to add the dark brown. And that's where this liquid is supposedly the miracle thing. I don't have to switch thinners. I can just use the same thinner if I'm using any acrylic paint. I don't think it'll apply to craft paint, but I have no intention of ever airbrushing craft paint. That's just asking for a problem. It's super goopy. Not only is it super goopy, it's very weird, you know, and I will just dry brush that. We're perfectly happy dry brushing that. But, you know, not being able to, doesn't matter whether I use AK or MIG or Vallejo, I can use the same thinner. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So, there's a little toothbrush or something like that. I should be able to work. All right. If I remember correctly, this stuff is thicker than snot. Let's put the liquid in first. We're going to go, it's supposed to be 50-50. And I am going to buy more of this. And the big, so what happened is 70% of this flow improver. So I had about 70% of this stuff. So I just ended up filling the rest because I didn't have any empty bottles. They're somewhere, and I'm not going to spend a day looking for them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy this size of flow improver and then put this much of it somewhere else and then fill it with the rest of it is thinner, and 10% of it is retarder. I've got 10% worth of a big one in retarder. So that's what we'll plan on doing. All right, let's pay attention because I'm a terrible multitasker. Well, at least I admit it. I'm a unitasker. I'm a good unitasker. I can be a good unitasker. Yeah, this is not dropping. It pours out. Now, yeah, we're at about 20 psi. I should be fine. All right. I like doing what I'm about to do, and I'm like, I don't know if this is going to turn out okay. Yeah, it will. Okay, we don't need turrets for this. Turrets are right out. Now this happens to be the same color that the tracks are, by coincidence. So I might as well paint them all this color anyways. King G. You're at this a lot, I know. That's my therapy. See, some people like drink a lot. So this is I'm an alcoholic when it comes to painting things. Mm-hmm. Any chance I get to myself, I'm doing this. Now, they molded this that there is no fenders on the front and the back. So what that happens is you get all this brown shit everywhere. I'm going to end up having to epoxy that in. But at least I didn't wait. I didn't do it that one evening. I wanted to get going on it. Ain't nobody had time for that one night. I guess we're not going to wear gloves today. This part of it's not really messy, right? Pretty happy with that. Okay. Now these crappy Russian trucks. Good job. You don't drink then. I do. I just don't drink enough to even say that I drink. Which is a shame because I'm a lot nicer when I'm drinking. So this wheel goes round and round and leaves this stain here. I saw on eBay there's a load of about 120 millimeter World War II figures. Looks like it might go cheap, and postage to Burgerland is only 17 pounds. You think that's a good price? Of course it's in the UK. Sons of bitches. All the 20 millimeter stuff's in the UK always. We have all the stupid 28 millimeter shit here. There's somebody in Britain that's like wants to do GHQ stuff and is probably pissed. Oh, GHQ stuff comes from the States. I'm gonna pay all this money for it. Yeah, they're the anti-Tony. I don't need anything though, so I'm not really complaining. I got plenty of stuff to work on. I'm almost out of vehicles. That sounds crazy, but I almost got them all painted. I may have like a Nah, I got 2 dozen to do. So I don't have like a dozen. I got more than that. And we're still going to dry brush a little bit over it. But I just want this to have like a brown undercoat in this area. Yeah, everything I'm always looking for always comes from the UK, always. And then next month, we'll have to figure out how to put this, make waves. We'll have to do this the Yorkshire way. Or at least influenced by, there's no point in reinventing stuff that he's got down really well. Maybe just improve on it. If there's any improving that needs to even be done. Oh, you know what? I didn't get the underside of this bastard. This green bastard. The brown side of this green bastard. Burgerland. I've never heard anybody in the United States call it Burgerland. Do you guys across the pond refer to anybody other than people from the United States of America as Americans? It's technically, people from Mexico are Americans. They're North Americans. So is Argentina. Oh, those damn Americans. Who? Oh, the RGs. What? Well, they're South Americans. Nope, just two guys. Or us guys, I guess, to my ancestry. You're only American on every third Tuesday. There's like a full moon the night before. Anglo-American. Why don't they call it American Anglo? American Anglo. Get away from me. Okay, that's enough singing. I'd be concerned this might not look so good, but not having done it before. Oh, the other thing I was really concerned was seat covers. So I took a lot of pictures of seat covers. I got some really good pictures of the tarp on a Dunkelgelb colored on the SDKFZ 7. And that sounds stupid, but that's something that's hard to find pictures of. I don't care. I don't care what color the seat covers are. You are if you're painting one. But there's one part where they had things on opposite sides of like this. We'll call it an airfield, even though it wasn't an airfield. But that's kind of what it felt like. It felt like you were sitting on one side of the airfield, and there was things that there were tanks towards one end, and the vendors were towards the other. And you'd go and they'd do talks in one area, and then the so anyways, I go over to look at something, and I come back and I hear gunfire, small arms gunfire. And I'm like, shit, they're doing the small arms demonstration over there, which isn't a big deal because all that is available online. There's a lot of videos of that online. But I'm walking up to it and I'm like, I can't hear what they're saying, but I recognize what weapon it is by the sound it's making. I'm like, yep, that's an MP40. That's a, you know. The thing I was the most impressed with sound wise, there's two things sound wise I was really, well, three things. When the cannons went off, man, you felt that in your chest. That's just a 75. Forget the long tom. You felt that in your chest, and I wasn't that close to it. And the 50 caliber machine guns on the in the battle reenactment, the 50 caliber machine guns, and they don't come up in photos worth of shit. But, and I don't know if they come up in video worth a damn, but the flash that comes off the 50 cal, I swear, is like the fire blast is like freaking this big. I'm not a huge 50 caliber fan, right? I'm not like, oh, it's all that in a bag of chips. I am now. It's a small fucking cannon. You know, the sound that it makes. Dun, 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 dun. You know, it's like somebody, like some ogre pounding on a door really, really fast. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, it's so much deeper than anything else. And the Thompson fires really fast. But the guys claimed that they had a 20 round magazine, but I always thought that they ditched those and they had 30s. And 20 rounds in a Thompson isn't worth a shit, you know. But then 20 rounds in a BAR isn't worth a shit either. You know, 20 rounds on something that can be fully automatic. The Sturmgewehr, for as cool as it looks, doesn't sound worth a damn. It's uncool sounding. Of course, I listen to everything with a hearing protection. Well, the hearing dumbing down, I should say, because I still hear it. It's not like I'm not wearing muffled headphones. I'm wearing headphones that don't let the decibel level get over a certain amount. I don't know what it is, whether it's 40 or I don't know what it is, but you can hear people talk. You know, if I'm talking to you like this or I'm screaming at you, one's not louder than the other. That's the best way to describe it. So gunfire is not louder than anything else. So, you know, you'll hear like gunfire here and then somebody's whispering something stupid behind you. You'll hear that too. So I don't know what the terminology for it is, but they work really well, and they should, because, you know, it's not like they're cheap. It's not like they were, you know, pick them off the. There's one guy who was handing out like earplugs, and I'm like, nope, I brought mine. And it's funny because I ended up using them 3 times on 3 different occasions, so I'm glad I did. Well, due to your ancestry, Ben, have you ever like been in a conversation in the UK and said, "Oh, don't ask me, I'm American." Like, try to like not be included in a group of locals because you're like, you know, you're half American. shit. I do shit like that when it's convenient to me. I'm like, oh, we're not from around here. You know, try to throw some Civil War shit on it. It's like, we were in the old country. We weren't here in the 1860s. We got here in the 1960s. You could, but your accent probably torpedo. You can't do American accent? Man, every British actor can do an American accent. And well, too. You know, a generic one. You guys are good at that. It's stupid Americans that are no good at that. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm not going through hardly any paint. Other than when I do the primer. This paint lasts a long time. Could probably do a sort of mountain or swamp folk thing. Well, those people aren't well regarded in this country, so maybe that's probably not a good thing. Nobody goes around here in the United States and goes, man, I just love that inbred twang. I'm sure you're better than some of the folks where I grew up, Ben. That's your peeps. Man, you don't... Dude, you sound like you're from where I'm from, Marcus. You need to work on your twang. Yeah, it doesn't do it for me. I don't like the sound of perceived ignorance. That's it. I'm just gonna leave it at that, because I know there's some people that have a very heavy accent and are very well known, but unfortunately, all the commoners really work against that. Like I said, there's this one girl that does this. I'm sure there's more than one girl, but there's this one feed that always gets recommended to me. And this girl, she's super pretty. I mean, she's pretty, but she's not like a model knockout. She's just like a girl next door, super pretty. But man, her accent is make a train take a dirt road. I don't put a top on that jar, and it never evaporates. I don't know what that means. I got some killer mushroom I'm growing in there probably. All right, I'm going to go ahead and not clean this thing out very well, because I'm getting ready to put the nasty in through it. I'm about to do the nasty. That's priming. So let's jack this up to about 35, which is a lot less than I used to use. And let's put the nasty in. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put these in these and get it out of the way before I knock one of them down and get upset with myself. A truck, another truck, another truck. Oh, look. Geez. That thing's back heavy. So I was doing some cursory digging, and it turns out Battlezone Miniatures is currently doing the early war miniature Soviets. I remember once a cashier in Walmart asked if I was Scottish. Then a woman asked if I was from near London or the capital of England. No way. No. 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 You should have just right there. No way. No. Nobody's that stupid. Nobody's that stupid. There's no way that person does their taxes. No way. I don't believe it. Was the same person in Walmart? There's some things. Okay, here's my elitist rant. There's some things that if you don't know, you shouldn't be allowed to vote. Like if you don't know what the flag of the United, and this is about other countries. I'm sorry. You have to fucking know these things or you're not allowed to vote. What's the flag of England look like? Of the United Kingdom. I don't know what it looks like. And somebody shows it to you. What is this a flag of? I don't know. You shouldn't be allowed to vote. Period. End of story. You should know what the French flag looks like. You know? Dumb shit like that. Well, I don't know history. That's just common fucking sense at this point. You're a moron. There's no way you could have avoided stuff like that all the time. If you don't know what the capital of France is, you shouldn't be allowed to vote. End of story. I mean, if you don't know that, what kind of bullshit do you know? She was one of those people of Walmart types. In her defense, there's no defense for her. There's no defense for her. She was dead. Okay. Well, she couldn't answer the question. In her defense, she did look down, shake her head, and wandered off saying, wait, that wasn't right. When somebody asks you what the flag, oh my God. It's not an open book test, man. You should know this stuff. How can you not know it? That's like saying, what language do they speak in Japan? French? No, wrong answer. Get off the boat. Her vote counts as much as yours. No, her vote counts twice. I think letting people vote's a bad idea. I know the other alternative is bad also, but, you know. Voting's overrated. All right. Well, she sure as hell isn't going to be able to answer the question right about Operation Wintergewitter I got coming for her. So, you know. Where's the third one? It's not primed yet, dumbass. Okay. There's 3 of those. There's these. You are a noisy bastard, aren't you? Yeah, she meant Liverpool. Liverpool is a silly name for a city. They speak that really confounded accent over there, don't they? I watched that video several years ago, like It was actually an interesting video on like the easiest to understand accents of England, of Britain. I'm sorry, Britain. So it didn't get into a Scottish one per se, and it didn't get into a, which I'm sure there's probably several different Scottish accents within Scotland. And it didn't get into Irish because, man, the Irish one's all over the place. And number two was Cockney. And I'm like, really? But then you think about it, like, we've been exposed to that for a long time, whether we wanted to or not. Like, who's the easiest to understand Cockney speaking person other than Dick Van Dyke on Mary Poppins? You guys love that one, don't you? Michael Caine. You can always understand anything Michael Caine says. I don't think anybody dislikes Michael Caine. I don't know, prove me wrong, but how much are we going to do this? We need to do, this is 30% this. So let's go ahead and put what we think 70% is. Not put too much of it, and then put the 30%. And then some of the other accents are hard to understand because we're not exposed to them. And also they cut off words. Like if you're reading a sentence in, I don't know, Geordie, for instance, there's words when you're reading the sentence that you'll skip over, or you'll skip over part of the pronunciation of part of the word. And we're not used, our brain can't fill in the blanks because we're not used to doing that for you. So, but you know, Ben, you got a pretty heavy accent, but it's, as long as you're not speaking fast, I can understand everything you're saying. You know, now we're going to put the body cavity search glove on. We don't know where this has been. Now, anything that's been touching, it's out here in the garage with the window open for all to see. What? We're supposed to have a thundery day, at least the first part. I showed my wife some of the interview stuff that I did yesterday, and she goes, "Oh, it's got a rip in it. Don't use a rubber if it's got a rip in it." I showed my wife part of the videos that I shot of the thing last night, and she goes, "Man, why are you talking so fast?" And I was like, I catch myself doing that. Like sometimes I feel like it's, I guess I'm working on being having a social problem, but no, I feel like when I'm around a lot of people and I'm trying to talk to one person and I'm afraid, it's not really a fear. Well, maybe it is a fear. I don't know, of being interrupted and losing my train of thought. So I go, well, do I do that on my show? And she's like, well, what I've heard you, not really. I said, yeah, because I don't mind you guys like interjecting something with a question. I love it, but I get to at least finish what I'm talking about before I go on to that. And I feel like in a real conversation, and I think that might be I think that might be something that has been induced by my work conditions at work. I think that what you experience in your work life, because work unfortunately is a good portion of the time you are awake, affects your personality later on in life. There's a lot of things that I'm really against having happen to me while I'm not at work, because they happen so much at work and there's nothing I can do about it no matter what I do. And at work, there's so many situations where I'm doing A, B, C, and D. Somebody comes in while I'm in the middle of A and they want to do something different, and it may be on the critical path, it may be off the critical path. So I have to stop what I'm doing and go to them. So I get a lot of interruptions. And I think over the years, that has caused me to, like, sometimes I'm like bombarding somebody with something And it's not because I don't want to let them talk, but it's like I'm just so afraid of losing my train of thought and then go, what the fuck was I talking about? And I think, I don't know, maybe that happens to everybody, but I've certainly noticed that it happens to me. And I can talk without notes and things like that, but if I end up getting pulled into a different direction, I'm like, okay, I want to interject that. Let me, it's just, I don't know. Your best friend from grade school's name is Blackburn. Oh, hold on a second. Let me go back here. Liverpool. We do have a Blackburn, which I'm surprised wasn't reused for a town in the deep south back in the day. Yeah, that's where Sherman was from, Blackburn. Burned everything black. Unless you meant something else. All right, I guess I should touch. Nah, let's do the fresh one because I'm probably going to have to give it a second coat because thinning this down means it doesn't cover as well. The .35 needle also means that you're spraying in a tighter pattern, which means it doesn't go everywhere as much. I really should get it. Next time I get a chance, I'm going to get a new piece of cardboard so I can see how much new overspray I'm getting. I bet it's not very much. These Italian Semaventes are nice, but I wish they had the option for the hatches to be open. Might have to do a third as a 3D print at some point. Are those ones from Italy? All right, so I don't know how this escaped me, but Semaventes are ugly. They are. That doesn't mean I wouldn't build any. They're just ugly. I mean, the one Italian tank I have is ugly. And M1139 is an ugly tank. Sorry. It is. Some Aventes are ugly. Why? Because the front of them's straight. Right, the casement's straight, and their gun's too small. The gun's not long enough. But that's a lot better at infantry support than a damn 47. Yes, Italy, the 2 times fast build kit. Of all the places I've gone in Europe, any hobby store I've gone to, they don't have those Italy kits. Because if they were like, because you could, if I didn't have to pay for the shipping, like there's one guy in England that's selling them. And if I didn't have to pay exorbitant shipping, they're available really cheap. I mean, like, it breaks down to like $6 a piece or something. Like, that's a deal. Like $6 a piece for, that's what I'm waiting for, those Italian M1340s from Italy. Like to get, like 12, 13, $15 a pack. I'll buy fucking 4, how many do I want? 10? Yeah, 5 packs of them. Bam. Why 10? You got 10 different decals. Done. And those Italian tanks have those huge decals. Like, you better put this on, or you're going to get a big parking ticket in Rome. You know, those fascist Italian cops. We won't hand paint those decals. License plates. So the worst part about the battle reenactment is you have a German motorcycle out there with a sidecar that's in the middle of a battlefield and it's not getting knocked out. And it's just like, there is no way in hell you would be static in a motorcycle with a sidecar. I was like, you're asking to be killed in a New York minute. That's like the last place I want to get into. I mean, like, it either offers no protection or you can't get out of it fast enough. Or a half track. You don't want to be in a half track. You're in a vehicle that, like, you know, when you're getting shot at by 75 millimeter stuff, like, get out. You don't need to be there. An ammo magnet. Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, what's that over there? Well, I can see that. Let's go ahead and shoot at it. You know, it'd be like sitting on a horse. Like, I'm cavalry. What are you? Okay. You're going to park a horse in the middle of the battlefield, stay mounted on it, and, like, shoot from the mounted horse. Like, oh no, it's way back there. You know? Yeah, sometimes you can know too much stuff you can't enjoy things anymore. I didn't do a good job of cleaning that. I need to deal with that now. Look at my X-Acto knife. As soon as this thing stops vibrating, so I can put it in here. Come on. Because you know what happens when it hits the ground. You don't need that. You good? All right. Bring it back. So one of the comments that I made to one of the people that was there was, the thing I hate the most about American armor or the American vehicles is their tank division markings are they suck. They're shitty beyond shitty. Not only does every vehicle have this stupid serial number, Like you live in one of those states where you have to have a vehicle inspection on it. You have this huge serial number that's on it. By the way, I love these type of blades. I'm gonna have to get some when I order the other standard ones. I'm gonna get some of these because man, these are a lot more helpful than the other ones in some certain situations. But anyhow, um, other than having this huge marking that you have to have on here, 3060704, your armor division marking is 4 triangle and then your little numbers that go behind it. I'm like, it's just lame. I mean, the Russians ones suck too, but at least you get some variation in it. The Germans and the British ones are the good ones. But that's really my only gripe with them. I like the nicknames. Every single one of the vehicles had a nickname. Not necessarily ones I would have picked, but I'm not the owner. Nobody asked me. Actually, the thing is about being nearsighted. You take off your glasses and all of a sudden you see everything. You're all seeing. Perfect. I know the U.S. infantry shoulder patches. You'd think they would have the same standard for armor. Absolutely. Now I don't love every U.S. infantry patch, but I don't like every German one, and I don't like every British one either. But there's a lot of them that are really cool. I agree. Why didn't they do that? Big Red 1's cool. The third is good. I like the 30th. I love the 45th. The 45th infantry patch is super cool. Didn't that one that actually had a swastika and they changed it? I don't know why I'm thinking that's the case. Well, it looks better with an eagle. I like anything with a fucking eagle. A Thunderbird on it. Yeah, why didn't it have that same standard? The airborne patches are cool. Yeah, I don't know why they... Lame. You like the 29th. I can't look it up right now. Sorry. I can, but then I'll lose the feed. What's it look like? Remind me what it looks like. 29th was in the fighting. That sounds like one that was all up in there. One of the best ones? The Ghost Army one. The one that has that little ghost with the little shocks coming out of him. That's a really cool one. Well, that's because it's from Virginia. That's why you like it. Ah! I don't remember what it looks like. Is it the swirl? It might be the swirl. The swirl's cool. The yin yang swirl. Yeah, I like the yin yang swirl too. That is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It's a little bit Asian, it's a little bit rock and roll. And the British have some great ones. They have some shitty ones, just like the Germans have some shitty ones. They usually involve SS runes. The blue and the gray. Let's try something I've never done before. Remix that. Can't hurt. Now, I've said this primer, when it dries, it gets this crust on it, almost like the cheese on the top of like a French onion soup. Now, some of these T34s might have had this headlamp up here on the side. I'm not going to cut that and remount on it. There's few things that are harder to do than putting a headlamp on the outside of the T34 85 and T34 and not have it fall down. So we'll just go with wherever Skytrek decided to put it on the hull, which they just use the same hull for all their T34s. rub some of the paint off when I was painting it yesterday. Never a good idea to be rushed doing something. It's nothing critical. All right, turret time. I hope there's enough there. Can't leave that there. Learn that the hard way. So I do have to go out today. I don't have to. I choose to. I got to return some wire at Michael's. And while I'm there, I'm going to go pick up some paste for snow, for standing snow. And use that in conjunction with the other snow that I have. Got to do the grocery run, enjoy the day. Maybe I'll catch you on later. All right, man. Be well. Look out for the crazies. You guys see that footage of, I think it was multiple buildings in Burma. Yeah, that's what I call that country. Burma. It just collapsed. Man, that's horrible, man. That's the stuff of nightmares. We'll give these guys a second photo. There's a lot of footage from Thailand too. There were lots of folks in the pools at the top of the tower blocks, and some had a lucky escape and others just lay there with little or no concern. Oh, so I guess it was close to both countries. I mean, I know they border each other, but it was on the border of both countries. Yeah, it's... That can't happen to you if you're in a mud hut. I mean, unless the whole mudslide comes and knocks your whole village down, but... That's horrible shit, man. No earthquakes, please. I'll take hurricanes, thank you. At least with a hurricane, you get to pick what you're going to wear when you die. You get the fuck out, you know? Just like that, we're out. Now, this should be easier to come out. stuff than without the thinner. It is. Goat Edits. What's up, man? I'm doing well, man. How are you? It's a weekend. You better be doing well, because the weekday is going to be worse. Let's clean this up good, because we're going to use regular paint. And usually, if anything goops anything up, it's this primer. It was only 10 kilometers below the surface. Yeah, I'm not sure what that means, if that's like a big distance, or I guess you mean by it's kind of shallow. It affected parts of Thailand and China too, as well as Burma. Looked like it was the older buildings that did better than the new. Wow. Yeah, that's. Do I remember you? No. Should I? What are you known for? That could be a good thing that I don't remember you. There's some people I remember that they're not allowed back. No, actually, it didn't last that long. You're one of those guys who wanted me to eat a cockroach, right? For $100? But you got the wrong guy. I won't be eating cockroaches for anything. I guess the old guy's walking today, and he doesn't have his partner with him. And by partner, I mean just a friend that walks with him. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they'll do more than that, but that's none of my business. I don't judge. Just don't make me watch. Well, welcome back. Let's get this goop off this thing. Loosen that stuff up. It's definitely a lot easier to clean with some of this thinner in it. Thinning everything. So the guy's on to something. That's clean. So's that, all right. I'll put the needle back. Nope. Back it in. Remember you said you like black primer or gray primer. Oh, I haven't said that a lot of times. That's Citadel Miniature Painting Guide's fault. I had the first one of those that I got from like 1993. Where the hell's my wrench? Was oh, we should put it here, dumbass. It's Dumas. Nope. When you do stuff like that, it's dumbass. There it is. It's just hidden in plain sight. When I first started doing 20mm miniatures, that's what I saw some people that were priming their Games Workshop stuff in black, and I went all in, man. It makes sense to me. I speak that language. I know some people, like, if they're painting like Indians, like from India, I guess it would work for the other Indians as well, Native Americans. They prime in brown, they prime in light. I want the dark shadow. If I miss a spot, I want it to be an easy correction with black. I mean, hell, I pin wash in black, so I mean, it makes sense to me. Although I did do the Zenithal thing. I guess that's still primed in black, though. I did do the Zenithal thing. Let's do the US vehicle first. Let's do this, the half track, because there's a color here I've never used. Olive drab base. I've never used this olive drab base. I'll be right back. I gotta go pee pee. I don't have to. I choose to. I'll be right back. All right. Painting tanks. Everybody likes tanks. We've got a lot of armor modelers. We've got a lot of airplane modelers in our model group, though. I'm not going to buy any more plane models until I finish the two that I have. One of them's over here. The P-40's here. All right, even this stuff that I pride myself on. Let's run some of this out. We need this about 15 psi at the most. I pride myself on this stuff working great with right out of the bottle. But it's really using this with primer. That's the magic stuff. We only have one vehicle, so let's go 1, 2, and only 2 drops of this. 1, 2, 50-50. That's what the guy says. You know, if you're going to follow a recipe, you need to follow it the way it's intended the first time. And after that, you can start screwing with it, right? But otherwise, then you can't say, the recipe's all bad. Well, did you follow it the way it's intended? No, I did my own thing. Well, then, who are you to judge? All right. Let's make sure this is... It's awfully thin. Adding just a drop in there though makes it stay in the center also, so that helps too. Let's try this. Yeah, I don't really pay attention to the news unless it comes up on my feed first thing in the morning when I'm surfing, having breakfast. That's why I even found out about that earthquake. And also, one of Putin's limousines blew up or something like that. We'll do this in when we get back in later. It'll be interesting to see how the snow looks different on this one. see how we're looking at here. And how different is that? Well, that actually, I think the Russian green looks better than olive drab. Olive drab is pretty effing ugly. There's nobody going, I like everything in olive drab. It's my favorite color. Nobody says nobody. Dunkelgelb makes a better wedding dress than olive drab. They're both terrible choices, but... I did say Dunkelgelb to a lot of people yesterday that were reenactors, and fortunately, they knew what I was talking about. I didn't have to explain to them, what the hell's Dunkelgelb? The color that fucking tank you're sitting on, Gefreiter. Now we'll do the Soviets. Soviet green. 4BO, baby. Even though we're going to cover most of it. No, that's olive green option 2. Whatever the hell option 1 is. I didn't get that option. And then the first stuff we're going to paint is the what are the name of those people? BP cast. I got lots of non-snow Russians. Lots. I mean, like, they're like my biggest amount. So, if I do any more Russians, it's going to be snow Russians. It's no Russians. Well, what are they? Russian. I thought you said they were snow Russians. There's no Russians. No, snow Russian. Oh, okay. I think 3 drops for this. 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right. So we're going to cover these in a light. Let's get some height advantage over this. You have a better LOS. Getting took dry. So I think what I'm going to do is, we're filming this on the phone. Whenever I'm done with this session, if I'm still planning on continuing to film, I'm going to go to the computer, because that way I can go ahead and start uploading the video from my phone. It says it's going to take 3 hours. It depends on when you do the upload to YouTube. It can vary a lot, actually. Sometimes it'll take a really long time to do something simple. I guess I got one more week to decide if I'm going to go to the convention in Orlando or not. Or then if I decide after that I'm screwed, I end up paying $15 more for the weekend. I had one guy that contacted me that normally comes down to our shows, and he's like, I asked him, I said, "Were you planning on going? Because I don't mind seeing him, even though I don't play DVA anymore." He's like, and he was basically just coming to Florida just to play DVA, and he literally said that the last show he went to, they got less than 4 people in several of the events, and they couldn't hold them well enough. He's like, he wasn't going to come down. I was like, man, I thought the guy that took over DVA was all talking about this. He was going to, so many people were going to show up, and he was going to learn how to play sessions and all that kind of stuff. And you telling me it got worse? Yeah, I didn't see that coming. I mean, I promoted the shit out of it. Still can't get people to get off their ass and come to a game. I'm like, well, I'm out. Now I don't care who plays this game. That's not my problem. It gets back to my old saying that I say, when you volunteer to do something, you decide to volunteer to do one thing. Nobody gets to decide how you're volunteering, right? You can't be like, hey, I want you to do more. Well, what are you doing? Oh, I'm doing nothing, but I want you to do more. I'm like, well, you fucking do something, man. Well, I want you to do more. I'm like, well, why would I do more? People aren't showing up. And in a tournament type game, it's kind of important. You want people to show up. In a one-off like what I'm doing now, I don't care. I don't care if anybody plays this. And I'm not sure if exactly the same thing happened to the guy that was running everything in Ohio, but the guy in Ohio was like putting out the money for prizes also. Well, that's just stupid. That's just stupid to go and, put all your own money out and not get to play in an event that you're running and people still don't show up to play it. No wonder he did something else. People aren't going to show up to play something, that's fine. Well, at least gives me a free hand to go play something else myself, right? No, you're stuck there waiting for people to show up that never will. That was one of the main reasons I made those videos. Like, well, at least people can know that this game isn't dead, or see that we play it here actively. And I had way too many people that said like, "Oh yeah, man, I live in the area. I'll see you next September or whatever," and they would never show up. Or you get people that would show up and they wouldn't show up a second time. And I'm like, I don't have time for flighty people. I don't have time for people saying that they're going to be somewhere and they're not. Like, I'm not that way. I really have no interest in interacting with people that are that way. Oh yeah, I'll be there on Tuesday, and they don't show up. They always have an excuse. I don't have time to play a game of DBA. Well, you don't have time to wipe your ass then, because that's the quickest freaking game ever. Quickest miniature game ever anyways. Now, how much paint do I have left? Not much. tell you what, man. Ever since I did use that mixture, the airbrushing has gotten a lot easier. So I'm gonna reach out to that guy, give him some credit. I'm not afraid of giving people credit when they, when they come up with something good. Now the cool part. Whitewash. If it's going to rain, it's not going to rain a lot. Now we're going to go ahead and do the half track first. I think somebody was telling me the way you get this color is to use yellow or black. That makes sense. We're going to do 5, because we're going to do all these vehicles here. Well, that's not supposed to happen. Wow, I actually did a pretty good job of not getting any on me. Watery ass paint. Oh, we'll put this here for a while. Let's make sure we don't transfer this somewhere else. Got too excited and shot my load all over myself. Hand sanitizer does wonders. Some glasses. I did my hand sanitizer video, and somebody immediately talking about somebody has a good idea. Somebody immediately, it works as good as alcohol works. Isopropyl alcohol works the same. So I did it on a live session. We try to make sure I don't have any. No. I did it on a live session. I mean, alcohol doesn't work with the shit. Maybe if the paint's wet, but after it's dried, doesn't work. Doesn't work. All right, let's see what I got. Let's see what I got to deal with here. Well, we should be good now. I do all my own stunts, folks. And we're not going to camouflage the inside. Maybe a little bit. There. Super, super light. All right. Afraid I put all you guys asleep. All right, T-34s. Now, how different does this look? Let's see here. We still got to do the brown on the bottom. A little bit different. You can still tell it was another base color. Let's do with the one that has zero stuff on it first. Man, I love hand painting the markings on these vehicles. Really love doing that. Oh, we got a rip in these gloves. These are the cheapest freaking gloves ever, man. Get a little bit of splatter. See if I turn up the pressure a little bit, if we get rid of that, or it gets worse. Man, I'm able to get some really thin patterns now. I mean, that's pretty freaking thin. I mean, I don't want to do that on here because they really didn't do that kind of stuff. They'd more likely take the white paint with freaking brooms and do that shit. Now, these particular vehicles, for this operation, didn't have a lot of camouflage on them, if any. Yeah, that's really pretty thin. So I may do these three like this. Like there's some kind of a pattern on them, but it's thin. Like they were just painted in a rush. Except I don't have any water. this. Rain? Felt like rain hitting the window. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Oh, we're not done with that. We gotta do the muddy shit on the bottom. It helps. Especially once I realized that's a real easy way to paint the tracks. That's a real easy way to put the base color on the tracks. All right. This one. Welcome to factory. Take a seat. What are we doing on paint? All right. those sharp edges, man. They're not that sharp. It won't be doing that again. We won't be putting that airbrush on that mount while it's vibrating. It was working its way out. And I'm lucky that one, when it broke, only broke that and not more. These are gonna look great. Oh, just like I did never done snow stuff before. I do snow stuff and it looks great. I've never done that Africa stuff, looks great. But both of those have two things that not all of my models have, but that I'm gonna go back and retrofit as I go. That's black panel lining and rustifications, the drippings. Both of those have that. My snow stuff and my North Africa stuff. And that's the best looking stuff I've done so far. So, note to self. Do the drippings. Okay? So these two T34s can go over here. And the last one. The third. '85th Tank Brigade. That's one of them anyways. We're using so little paint. we still got some of this white stuff here. Oh, now we're raining. Or rained. That's no thunderstorm. It's okay, we don't need thunderstorm. People always say, hey, we need rain. Nobody says, man, we really need some lightning to start hitting trees and shit. Like, you know, nobody needs that. That looks pretty good. And it looks pretty consistent with the way we have the trucks looking. Now, I do have an M8 armored car out here. Now, this is a Corgi toy. And I should have bought more of them. I should have bought, like, I don't know, 8 of these things. It was like only $4 a piece. This is one I've got painted-ish for my Modern Africa project. But I probably ought to repaint it. You just use it for the U.S. forces and do snow on it. I think that'd look pretty good. You could find them still on eBay. It costs a fortune now. Used to get those at Toys R Us, Kmart, Walmart. Had those in the early 2000s. I mean, the 37 millimeter cannon is as big as a 75 millimeter cannon, or as thick as a 75 millimeter cannon, but it's an option at least. All right. I gotta go use the restroom again. I'll be right back. Now, Corgi also made Shermans, M4A3s, which I've got 4 or 5 of those, and like a Panzer IV F2 or a G, I forget which one it is, and a Panzer IV D, I want to say. I want to say it was a D. It had a short barrel, but it had no turret box, so I've never had any interest in getting one of those. And the Panzer IV honestly looked too small. I think they made a T-34 now that I'm thinking about it as well. And it might have been closer to 176, but the Sherman was spot on for 76. So, but with the airbrushing, we have them looking a little different. You know, There's some slight different modulation. You know, this one's got the barrel, it's a little bit less white than this one or this one. We left the ends, of course, black, like could simulate, you know, being smoldered from firing. That the engine deck's a little different on these, so I don't want them to look exactly the same. They're all going to have different markings. They're probably all going to have tank brigade markings. Those triangles, those were pretty common by that time, and all going to have. I've seen some actually that have a mixture of red and black markings on them. They look pretty good. So at least one of them will probably be that way as well. All right. Let's do the final task. Well, we need to get this stuff out. Sorry about putting you guys to sleep, man. Uh-oh. Did we not go all the way to the bottom? I guess we didn't. It doesn't go all the way to the bottom. Let's do this. If there's one color you don't mind mixing is this brown on top of the white, because it's going to go over the white areas anyways. Well, the countdown's begun. In about, how many hours is it, Jeffrey? In about 7 hours, I'm going to start getting the blues. According to you, you're right. I'm not a fan of late Sundays. You're asking yourself, did I have enough fun this weekend? And it doesn't matter what you answer. Weekend's over. Now here's the amazing part. I'm looking at the clicker on this video. I've been out here 3 hours. How? It seems like I've been out here 30 minutes. That's what I hate about this hobby. Time goes by way too freaking quick. Now, Jeffrey's always giving me a hard time about scatter terrain. When are you going to make scatter terrain? When are you going to make scatter terrain? We'll get there. Look at these pre-made already. Now, this is some kind of resin, or it might have been something like that. But here's like a depot here of gas and stuff. The problem is do you make this for the desert or do you make this for the snow? Yes. So I have enough to do both of them. Some for each. These ought to look pretty good. When you drop them on the ground, though, they're fucked. So. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab. Whoa, easy. Easy, killer. Mixy, mixy. And the thinner works a lot better putting it down first. So you know you have some of it going through the airbrush. All right. I'm I'm going to go ahead and remove the turrets off these because they don't get any of this treatment. Something like this. Something like this. Of course, we're going to do more weathering than that. That's good to have kind of as an underlayer there. Wow, it ran out. I guess this we're using a lot of paint on. Okay. Relatively. Might as well get out here and do the airbrushing before it gets hot also. So one of the things I'm probably going to do, although I probably need to get a relatively thick one, is I'm probably going to make my own snow sheet. I'm probably going to make my own snow sheet instead of buying one. Because I can use the same brown, put patches, and I think we can do that. I think I'll be pretty happy with that, with those results. And I'm comfortable enough in my airbrushing now. The problem with airbrushing before was just like, you spray for 15 minutes and you have a jam session. It takes an hour. So you're only getting 15 minutes of airbrushing every hour. It's really frustrating and inefficient. We can you link the mix with that guy made for the thinner? Not yet. Not yet, because I might do a video on it. Because it still was. I don't want to send everybody down a rabbit hole and it doesn't work. At this point, I'm like, this is working a lot better. And the fact that you can use it for this, you can use it for this, you can use it for well, I haven't tried it on the AK paints. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work. Instead of having AK thinner for AK stuff, and I mean, what I'll do is I'll probably still use this. I'm probably going to just use retarder in with it. But the other thing is the mixture percentage. It never occurred to me to use 50% of this paint, which is really, really thin to begin with. Like, thin it down another 50%, and with some retarder in there, it makes all the difference. I'm still getting some tip dry, but it's nothing like before. It's not a problem, doing that, but it's like the jam sessions were just crazy before. And I'm a pretty detail-oriented person, so it's within the realm of stuff I should be good at. Like, I'm like, well, you're not very good at, laying brick or carpentry. Okay, well, that's not in the realm of what I do. All right? That's not very artsy. So I kind of expect to have success doing this, especially when I'm kind of paying attention. But yes, I will. Well, there's not a link. It's an article. It's an article that he did on it. That he posted on the Airbrush for Dummies thing. And the guy's, I can't remember what his first name is, but his last name is Abbas. So he's actually related to that to you, Mr. Ben Wabi. Anyways, I don't remember what his first name is, but it's 70%. It's 70% all Vallejo products. 70% Airbrush Flow Improver. 30% Vallejo Airbrush Thinner. And then 10%, I know that adds up to 110% of retarder. And I looked at it twice, like, yeah, he did the math wrong, but that's what I did. I mixed up that amount, and it's got to be close. I mean, if you're off by 5%, it's not going to make that much of a difference. It's not like, oh, the bread didn't rise. It's like, I mean, there might be a version that works better with 65, 35, 10, There's a problem with a lot of these airbrush things is that there's a million voices and everybody has an opinion. And everybody's like, that's no good. That's, just like the guy when I did the hand sanitizer. Oh, that's stupid. You use alcohol. Just use rubbing alcohol and try that. It's like everybody's got an opinion. And I don't want to tell you guys, hey, this is good. And then, it creates more problems for you, right? If I'm going to give you some ideas, it's going to solve your problems, not create problems that you didn't already have. That's called a dickhead that does things like that. But that's basically all I would do is tell you that formula. And that's what he did. So what I did is I had all those products. I had very little small airbrush flow improver, and I didn't have any more of these bottles. And I bought like a cheap thing on Amazon I was going to transfer some of my Games Workshop paints. I did that with one color, and I'm never doing it again because you end up watering it down too much and wasting it. But I'm like, well, I'll just make that, and that's why I ripped part of this off, so I know that this is not 100% airflow improver. This is the Abbas solution. So, he said, hey, this works on all the acrylic paints. I'm like, okay, that's good. I don't expect it to work on craft paint, and it may actually work on craft paint, and then it's 70 to 30 mix on the primer, 70 to 30, and I did the 70, 70% this, 30% that, and I did the 70-30 also on this because it's thick like that. So on the thin stuff, 50-50. And on the stuff that really needs to coat well, 70-30. And I don't know. I actually, the Panzer 38s might actually be too dull. They're really, really dull. But that's it. Ramabas, yes. He's not a terrorist or anything, is he? I hope not. I hope he's a nice guy. He had a good idea. That sounds right. And there may have been other formulas that work as well. This just happens to be the one that's like, it caught my attention when it's like, oh, this works on all acrylics. I'm like, okay, good. You know? I don't want to sell you a bill of goods that's faulty. You know, other people can do that through life. You know, I don't want that to be something that I do. Just like I don't want to tell you I'm going to do something and I don't. I'd rather have other faults, and I got plenty of them. They just don't happen to be that. You know, I don't want to have faults that I have a problem with other people having. Like, I don't like people that lie. Well, then don't be a liar. You know. I'll take things that keep me up at night for 1,000, please. So this is the initial color on all the T-34s. Man, I love this snow shit. It's, you know, it's like going to another planet. Now, I don't know if you can notice, and some of this is going to get lost in translation probably, but look at this T-34-85. Let's see if you guys can see this. They decided to make this. It's already looking better. I mean, this is a piece of crap model. It is, but it may actually be okay. And see how it's falling apart? We're gonna epoxy it, but it didn't keep me from painting it. It does not have any fenders, so because it doesn't have any fenders in the front and the back, look how much splash you got on there. And I probably didn't do enough. I probably could stand to do more, as opposed to that much splash. So. They look fucking great. Just wait till we do some Jerry's. And I got half of mine to take some that are already gray, but I'm not going to do that. I'll get new Panzers, all for the 6th Panzer Division. We're in a 6th Panzer. I just got to still do a deep dive. I'm still up in the air on what numbering style they used. I'm probably going to do hollow black or solid black, probably. I haven't found anything definitive. I saw a commander's vehicle that looks to be hollow black numbers. Looks to be, but it's kind of hard to say because it's a black and white picture. Khurram Abbas. Yeah, and he did this post that everybody jumped on him. Like he was like, you know, like he was trying to help people. And all of a sudden, like, he's like screwing everybody. Like, you know, here's an idea that might help you out. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. Don't do it. I'm like, why are you trying to help people out? You know, he's just like, dude, man, that's not how we move forward. All of us trying to invent the wheel at the same time, you're going to get a lot of octagon-shaped wheels. So. Whew. Release that water. Okay. And I don't know who this guy is. You know? I hope he's a wonderful person. But I do need to write to him and say, hey, listen, I got a YouTube channel. And I tried your thing. And I'm pretty happy with the results. Thank you. That's it. That's how you encourage people to keep helping each other. Like, be nice to people, not like, hey, asshole, why'd you try to help everybody? I won't be doing that again, you know? How did you find out who he was? Are you a master of Google Fool too? I'd probably do is Abbas airbrush, you know, whatever. Do a search. Probably something. Maybe he's a guy who's a prolific painter. He's like Night Shift or the other guy from who's the other guy from the Middle East, Middle Eastern Night Shift. I can never remember what the other Slavic guy. Shift and I don't know. I just hopped on the group and searched for the name. Oh, so you remember the group? Oh, good. I can call you out. I can call you names on that group then. That's good. There's some useful stuff on that group. There's a lot of dumb questions, and there's a lot of smart-ass answers. So I generally don't participate in groups that are like that. You got people that are asking things that have been asked a million times, and like, hey, I bought this piece of shit airbrush. You think I did all right? Like one guy's answer was like literally like, you should have asked us before you did that. Like, all you gotta do is just like before you jump, ask it. You know, it gets asked all the time. Dumb questions. And then you got the smart asses that are like, one guy's always trying to promote his videos. Like, you need to come out, I'll teach you a class how to airbrush. I'm like, that's fine, but you're like in fucking South Carolina. Like, this guy's like in England. Like, it's not gonna work, you know? Self-promoting people, which I guess is fine if you think you can make a living out of doing this, which I don't think anybody can, but airbrushing for dummies or something like that. Expert and Airbrush for Dummies, advice for experts. It's called something like that. It might be on another. It might be on another one as well, but when you buy an airbrush investment, it should make your life easier. Not like, the fuck did I get into this? You know. Especially when you spend a long time deciding whether you even wanted to get one in the first place. Like, I tend to overthink things. Especially it's $300. I mean, it's like, you know, it's not a lot of money, but it's $300. Like, it's not enough money it's going to break you, but it's enough money that if you make a bad choice with $300, it's going to bug me for a long time. And $300 being the price of the airbrush and the price of the compressor. And you're getting your own personal HPCS tutorage here. Tutelage. I don't know. I don't know everything, but there's some things I've overcome. And there's some things that should have been an issue that are an issue and I've overcome, and I certainly don't want anybody to go through with them again. But this is all using the .35 needle. So remember I said get a 0.5 to push this other stuff through? My 0.5 was ripped. So Abbas's video, Abbas's post was all using a 0.35. I'm like, that was the other thing. I'm like, maybe this guy's onto something. I got nothing to lose. I got to buy a new needle cap, so it'll save me, I don't know what these things are, 10, 15 bucks. They're not more than 15 bucks, but. All right, let's, we can do better than that. Let's clean this out more. Bump up the pressure. Let's get into the 40s. Blow, baby, blow. Yeah, there you go. Put that fire out. More power. All right, now. Pull this farther out because I like to kind of push this. Oh, did you see the part where I didn't know that this was a separate piece, so I had to pull that thing off. And I put a gouge in it. I don't think it makes any difference other than it's aesthetically there's a little gouge there. But I couldn't get that thing off. I had to use another wrench on it. If I don't like it, I'll buy another cap. You know what? I'm fine with it. This is like the easiest, that's the easiest thing to keep clean. I tried using that needle lube. I didn't find it very useful. So it's going to be raining for a while. So that rain you could be out in and you don't really get wet. And you're drying as fast as you're getting wet. Okay, that thing's clean. You see light through this? Oh yeah. Okay. And now we just turn that off. Drain this bitch. I freaked out because I left the pressure on. With one section, I left the pressure on. I thought I was going to mess something up. But the cleanup, I don't know if you've noticed, but the cleanup ever since I've been using that Abbas stuff has been a lot easier. A lot easier. And I'm using the more precise needle. So, all right, so this is where we're going to stop. We've got, and we'll hand paint this mortar. This is where we're going to stop. Man, this thing's heavy. We must have some metal tanks in here. This is where we're going to stop for the airbrush session. And then we're going to see if I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue painting. If I can, I'm going to go to the computer because I need to upload this video because you guys need to see it. What time is it? It's about, oh, you guys just went forward, didn't you? So it's not close to 4. Yeah, I'd like for you to check some of it out tonight. All right, folks. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.